Hey there, Stationeers, and welcome back to Mimas for part 2 of our Atmospherics game. It is a bit of a pain in the ass to do this, but it is very, very necessary, and doing it right from the start is really helpful. So here it is. Here's the big reveal. This is our atmospheric setup. Now, it looks really elaborate, but I promise you it's actually very straightforward, and I will be explaining each and every piece to you as we need to. This is essentially the exact same thing we had set up at the very beginning when we wanted to recapture our oxygen. It is just a atmospherics filter, which is this guy right over here, pulling gas from a pipe, which is this guy over here, and then outputting the gas we want to keep into a tank, which is this guy over here.
Look at the length of this animal.
So let's just walk through how this whole system functions, and then this will all be very clear and very obvious to you, because all it did was save like 20 minutes of building on camera, right? So over here, we have a carbon dioxide filter. How do we know that? It's a filter unit with carbon dioxide filters inside of it. These things right over here. You change the filters, you change the gas that it wants to filter. These are the exact same filters we put in our suit. In fact, look at that. This one's finished. Yeet! There we go. We don't need it anymore. We could have recycled that, actually. Well, for the memes. For the memes! Now, the way filtration units work is really, really straightforward. You have power at the back and data. We're not actually using the data. This is just on here for show at the moment. The Omni power transmitter is, of course, just for flexing. Let me turn everything on so it's a bit more clear how this works. Our gas that we want to filter, so our unfiltered gases, go in the input side of the tank over here. They get run through these filters, and the gas we want to keep, which is the one we put in here, ends up in a tank. Right now we've got no carbon dioxide, but I did a test run, so we've got a little bit of oxygen in there as well. So we would put random gases in this pipe, we would pull out the oxygen and go there. But then we still have other gases, right? Let's say that there's nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and oxygen in this tank. We pull out the oxygen, well, what do we do with the CO2 and nitrogen? We put it back into the pipe. You see, pipes and stationeers do not have, like, physical simulation. So if there's some gas over here, that gas is simultaneously all the way over here. And if it was linked up to this pipe, it would be all the way over here. All at the same time, at the same pressure, at the same temperature. It's just a number, basically. So if we pull out this guy right over here, not our network analyzer, hold on, we're gonna switch to it, pipe network, there we go. So if we had gas in here, it would be the same temperature and pressure in this part of the pipe, as this part of the pipe, as that part of the pipe, as any other part of the pipe. It's all the same network, right? So it's just a number that goes up or down, which makes it a lot easier to understand. That means that if we put any of the gases that we don't want to use back into the pipe, what we're doing is basically making them available to all these other filters at the same time. So if there's a bunch of gas in here, all of these simultaneously pull the gases they want through it. There's no like one after the other daisy chain kind of thing. It doesn't matter where they are, they all work at the same time.
Oh my god. I get it.
Okay, that being said, what are we filtering? Well, we've got nitrogen filters over here. We've got nitrous filters over here. Bit of volatiles filters over here. And then much bigger tanks for our carbon dioxide and our oxygen. As we discussed last time, those are the two primary gases we're going to use to make our atmospheres. Our greenhouse is going to be pure carbon dioxide and will filter the oxygen off the top. And our shroom room and our kitchen are going to be pure oxygen and will filter the CO2 off the top. So what are all these pipes here then? There's a bunch of gaps in them, there's a whole bunch of junk, it's the same color as this one. What the hell is going on? Well, don't worry, we're going to walk through that all right now. Oh, and before I forget, I also have ice crushers. So these are how we're going to introduce gas to our system. We just throw some ice in here, it gets crushed up. There's two of them because they're kind of slow, so this just speeds it up. I'll give an example of this in a bit. And then those get filtered out. The only exception to this, of course, is volatiles, which I've also given its own dedicated ice crusher. Just skips the step, goes straight in there, because volatile ice only gives you volatiles. Oxides and nitrous, they give you a mix of other junk, but volatiles only gives you volatiles. Alright, so take me indoors, and let's have a look at how we're going to move the gas between these rooms. So if we look up, you'll see this. This is basically a pipe with a bunch of passive vents. What that means in practice is, like I explained earlier, because the pipe networks are simultaneously all in the same place, the gas that's in this pipe over here is also over here, and because of the vents, it means it's also in this room. Passive vents open a pipe up to the room they're in. meaning that if we put a passive vent outside in the vacuum, it'll suck it all out, all the contents will be vacuumed out, if we put it in this room, well, then the contents of this pipe are going to be identical to this room. So if I pop open my tablet, you'll see we've got 82 kilopascals of pressure, 21 C. We got a mixture of CO2, nitrous, and oxygen. If I look in this pipe, it is exactly the same. That is the important thing to be aware of. So basically, by putting all the vents around here, all we're doing is making it so that this room and that pipe network are the same network. Now, why do I have so many vents? Well, like I said, the pipes don't have locality, right? The stuff that's in this pipe is also in this pipe, is also in this pipe, all at the same time, but the atmosphere in rooms does have locality. So the gas in this square is not going to always be the same as the gas in this square. If I heat this square up, it takes a little while for the heat to travel over to here. So in order to sort of speed up the process of mixing all the gas, we put tons of vents everywhere, because that means that all the gas in the room at the same time is kind of being interacted with at the same rate. It's just a speed thing, really. It just kind of speeds it up. You could just have one vent in a corner, and it would eventually have the same result. Also, I should pick up all these mushrooms, because I want to vacuum this room out. So we can restart the gases. It's a lot easier than trying to, filter them out piece by piece. Now, how do we move the gases from this room into those tanks? We'll worry about getting it back from the tanks into the rooms a little bit later. That's a different process, and I haven't set up the framework for it yet. We're going to use pressure regulators, specifically back pressure regulators. What these do is look behind them on the input side, and they say, okay, if the pressure behind me is above the limit that I've set on this number, I'll let gas through. So if we want the pressure we're basically setting the room pressure here. So if we want the pressure in this room, because remember it's all one network, we want the pressure in this room to be 80 kilopascals, right? Well, actually, you always want to set it sort of slightly under what you actually want it to be, so you've got like a constant flow. So we want the pressure in this room to be 80 kilopascals, then we set that to 80, and the second the pressure in here gets over 80, or 78 in this case, it'll let gas through. So right now it's 82, meaning if I turn this on, it will allow gas into this pipe. Let's go test that out. It kind of works a bit like a volume pump, just very, very slowly. Turn that on, and now you'll see that the room pressure is going to slowly start decreasing as we put the gas from this room into this pipe. You can see the pressure increasing, and that's because the pressure, again, behind the back pressure regulator is higher than the limit we set, so it's allowing gas through. Technically, it's pumping it, but you can think of it more like a valve that only opens when the right conditions are met, because it's very, very slow, as you can see. Alright, so now we're putting all that atmosphere into this pipe. What are we going to do with it? Well, as you can see, it connects up with some other pipes over here with some gaps. What's going on over there? Well, that's the next step to explain. I've put together a similar setup in these two rooms. This is the kitchen room, and this, of course, is the greenhouse. So, as you can see, we've got the same vents, they'll work in the same way, but I haven't set up the back pressure regulator yet. This one we'll do together. So, back pressure regulator, you just scroll once with the pressure regulator kit in your hand, and voila, it's all set up. Now, I want the pressure in this room to be about, I think 101, so we'll set this to like 95. That way there's a bit, and then we'll overpressure on the input vent, and that way there'll be like a nice flow between the two spaces. And then we'll just need to power it. Very nice, there we go. So turn that on, and well, there's no pressure in this room at all, but if there was pressure, oh boy, would it be let through to there. Let's do the same thing for the greenhouse now. Okay, so exact same story here. Back pressure regulator, put that down right there. I think I want the pressure in this room to be, oh, I don't know. Should we say a comfortable 8? I'll do a 78 again, right? Keep the greenhouses consistent. Now, this is a bit of future-proofing, right? Like, these rooms don't have pressure yet, so don't worry about that too much. Ah, that's a bit of a problem. We've got that. We've got this green cable here. Honestly, I'm just a little bit lazy, but I think I'd rather move this, just so that this pipe looks a bit, because we're never going to see this, right? So there's a cable on the other side of this wall which is getting in the way. That's what that's complaining about. It's the one powering this APC. So we should go fix that as a matter of priority. But first and foremost, let's do this. Never ever connect the output and input sides of your APCs. They will explode. Just fair warning. You can cause quite a major short circuit that way. All right, there we go. So we got the power turned on, and it's going to slowly but surely, drain this room if there was atmosphere. Right now, of course, there isn't. So let's go continue sorting out the atmosphere. And I'll go fix that cable right now as well, before I forget. Now, both the greenhouse and the kitchen go outside, as well as this pipe. It goes outside, so this pipe over there. So we're going to go see where that pipe goes now. I'm actually also realizing I don't need an airlock on the kitchen. I think we can, I don't know, I think we can safely get away with just having doors. Although at the same time, it would be nice to keep all the CO2 the mushrooms produce out of my kitchen. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Has this thing turned on yet? Nope, it has not. Okie doke, so now we are outside. Let's have a look at where all these pipes go. So this is the pipe for the greenhouse. So basically, again, you can think of this pipe here is the greenhouse atmosphere. It's coming over here to a T-junction. This is the kitchen atmosphere. They both come down here to another T-junction. That's kitchen and greenhouse combined. That is the shroom room. And then they follow along this pipe to over here, which just dead ends at the moment. Let's go ahead and set up all the valves for this. Now, back pressure regulators are technically a one-way valve. But I want to try and prevent the gas from this room ever accidentally making it into this room. To do that, I'm going to grab a valve kit. These are the ones you start the game with. They look like this. But we're not going to use it in this form. We're going to scroll once, and we're going to use it in the one-way valve form. And this is just a tiny bit of sort of, I don't know, future-proofing. Just a little bit of foolproofing. If for whatever reason I accidentally, pull up that pressure regulator and put a pipe down, all of this room's gas, all the carbon dioxide and stuff would just flood into this room, which is not what we want. So we're going to set up some one-way valves over here and over here, which are going to force all that to mix. Same story here. We only want a one-way valve in this direction so that none of the gas from the other rooms makes it up into our mushroom room. There we go. And then honestly, this can just be a pipe. I was going to put another valve, but we don't need to. All right, perfect. So now all the gases only go one way. And which way do we want them to go? We want them to go into our filtration network. So let's get that set up right now. Okay, before I connect these two up, I want to show you one more time that what I'm talking about is true. Now remember, we pushed a whole bunch of gas from that room into this pipe. Well, now that pipe includes everything here because the one-way valve has allowed it in. You'll see that the temperature and pressure right over here are 433 kilopascals at 21C. And the temperature and pressure over here is, it won't be here because of the one-way valve, so that we know that's working. But over here, it'll be 433 at 21C. Exactly the same. It's the same place at the same time, all the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect our pipes. And everything's currently turned off, so it won't do anything at the moment. All we'll see is that the pressure would have dropped because the volume's increased. We're now at 276 at 21C. All looking good. Why don't we go ahead and turn on these filters and we'll watch the pressure in that pipe absolutely disappear. Zoop, 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 and it's gone. It's already been filtered. They are so fast. So we put a little bit of CO2 inside this large tank. We got 20 kilopascals. We put a little bit of oxygen into this tank. We got 168. We even had a little bit of... Oh, I think I did some ice crushing already. Yeah, so we've got some volatiles and some nitrous ready to go. And we got a little bit of nitrogen ready to go as well. But there we go. We now have gas filtration set up for these rooms. So whatever gas happens to be in these rooms is going to get pulled out and then put through the filters and then put back in the room. Now, in these two rooms, that's already basically a vacuum, which makes this a lot simpler. However, in this room, we got a bit more of a problem. There's some other stuff in there that I don't actually want in there. So I'm going to shortcut the process a little bit. I'm going to just speed things up a tiny little smushkin by stealing this volume pump and by vacuuming that room out completely. It's easier to start from zero than it is to sort of think of it. You can think of it like this, right? You've got two drinks. You've got whiskey in the one and Coke in the other. You mix the two. Then, by simply pouring out a little bit from one at a time, you try and separate them back to zero is really difficult. It's easier just to pour the whole thing out and make another cocktail, right? Which is exactly what we're going to do here. First, I'm going to pick up all the shrooms so I don't kill them. And then we're going to make our cocktail. Okay, there we go. Our next crop of mushrooms is safely secured away. We've got, what's that? 60, 135? 135 mushrooms. That fridge isn't on. They will spoil. But that's fine for now. We're going to pull a vacuum in this room by swapping this thing out from being a back pressure regulator. We're going to put this thing down as a volume pump and just absolutely slurp every single ounce of air in this room out. There we go. Let's push the volume all the way up and vacuum it dry. So there we go. We can see the pressure slowly but surely falling. It's going to take a little while for it to clear it all out. but it is distinctly dropping. There's a lot of gas in here. It's a very large space, and that's a very small pump. We could do this with an active vent. In fact, that might even be a little bit faster, so let me go get one of those. Volume pumps are good for moving gas like around pipes. They're not very good at moving gas from atmosphere into pipes. Give me an active vent. There we go. Whereas active vents are the opposite. They are very good at moving gas from atmospheres into pipes, and very good at moving it out of pipes, but not very good at moving gas around between networks. Like if you wanted to move something from this room to that room, I'd put it in a pipe and suck it over. Active vents, they are just sort of genuinely faster though too. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, who knows. Let's plug this in. Alright, we're going to just absolutely vacuum this out. And then, you know what? At that point, we might as well put this back so I don't forget it there, and then suck this room dry next time we try and use it. Give me the back pressure regulator again. Well, that's no longer going to do anything because the room is now below it, but that's okay. Let's wire in this vent. And then that will be cooking. Alright, so set inward, so suck. We want it to suck. There we go, and it will suck. Oh, it's actually sucking me up too. Yeah, because as you can see in this room, we've got nitrogen, CO2, O2, nitrous. It's a freaking mess. And the easiest way to cope with this random assortment of gases is just to completely vacuum it out and then put it all back in. It'll also give us the CO2 we need to prime our greenhouse. All right, so while that's working, let's immediately get to work on running the lines back to put the gas we do want back into these rooms. All right, but now since these pipes are going to be for a known quantity of gases, we can color code them. Nice. I'm going to need a passive vent. I think we're only going to have one vent letting gas back in, because again, as soon as it goes into the room, it'll just be part of that network really quickly. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to bring in oxygen here, and we're going to bring in oxygen here, and then we're going to bring in CO2 here. Let's start color coding.
4 to 6 days later.
Very, very nice. Okay, then give me this. This is going to be our forward pressure regulator, which will go that way. And I want to spray paint that, make him white. Very nice. And this will have a vent, very much not facing outwards, though. That'll have to face inwards. Okay, cool. That's the oxygen run to both of these places, sort of. Got a little bit to go on both, but that's a good start. Put that over there. Okay, so now we do the CO2, which is going to be an even longer run. And I think we can bring it in right over here, same as the other one. And we will do it, I think, in this window, just like the other one, just because it'll look cool. All about the aesthetics, as you know here. Oh, the panting has started. We are officially in danger of suffocation. Love that for us. We are almost done here with the CO2 pipe, though. This is about to connect. Take a turn here, and then we'll just go across, and we're going to have to go under one of these frames again. As annoying as that is, but oh well. I think we could go over, but it just looks a bit better if you go down. Okay, and we had just enough pipes. Very nice. We had one stack extra, but that's honestly, believe me, in this day and age, that's just enough. We use a lot of iron in this base. Okie dokes. So again, let's just confirm everything's working. So we've got lots and lots of O2 over here, and a tiny piddly little bit of CO2 through here. Oh, actually, that's increased quite a bit. That's really nice, because that's we vacuumed down that room. That's all the CO2 our mushrooms have produced. 200 kilopascals. That's more than enough. That will that'll be able to pressurize that base, I think, no problem, because these tanks are gigantic. So the relative volume is pretty good. I think we actually have enough to get going, so let's go get going. Okay, we have pulled a vacuum in here. Very cool. We can then turn that off. I'll leave it plugged in, just in case we do decide to continue with that, but for now, that'll work. Okay, so you need power, and you should get powered from this, so that it's all on the same network, at least approximately. Alright, so this is going to be our pressure regulator, and again, we want to set that slightly higher than what we set this. So if this is 78, we'll set this to like 83, and then it'll push 83 kilopascals of pressure into this room. Let's grab our vent. There we go, and we'll set this up to something. Let's just make it 85. You know, easy number to remember. That's not a labeler. There we go. Let's just make it easy. 85. Cool. And we should start seeing gas being forced in here. Yes, indeed. And it should be pure, delicious oxygen. And indeed it is. Oh, man. There we go. There we go. Okay, we officially have atmospheric set up for the shroom room. It's a little cold at the moment, and it's also a little bit, what's the word for it? Low pressure, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Now, we could set up multiple of these, and I probably will off camera set up multiple pressure regulators. I'll probably do one over here, run another one down. We'll do one in this space, and then another one inside this space. But for now, it'll work. It'll take a little while for it to push air through here, but it will eventually do so. How are we doing on the pipe network, though? Still got 280 kilopascals. We are going to have to heat it up. It's a little bit cold, but that is something we can solve. Let's have a quick look here. Because it is technically radiating heat. But I think we can offset that very easily using some pipe heaters once we've got the gas fuel generator running. Alright, that's going to be next episode's problem, though. And the gas fuel generator is going to produce a ton of heat just in its waste exhaust that honestly we could draw off of to heat these rooms. That could also work. Okay, but anyway, next up, pressure regulator again. We want you going this way. We want you colored white, just for consistency. There we go. And this room we set to 101. I think we set the back pressure regulator to something like 95, so we'll put this as 105. I think just simplify that, 105. There we go, and we just got to power you. Oh, and you need a vent too. Now, obviously, smaller rooms like this, this setup works a lot better for. And larger rooms, you are going to have to get a bit more. You have to be a bit more patient, unfortunately. Hey, we're up to 7 kilopascals in here, though. What's it up in this room space? 7. Very nice. And 10 by the vent. Ah, yeah, that's going to work. Okay, final piece of the puzzle. Let's get this greenhouse pressurized. So we're going to want a pressure regulator right there, and a vent. And we want both of these to be khaki. There we go. For CO2. Now, I did put some pollutant into the room, but that's fine. We'll filter it out over time. And we just need to power it. Ah, shit. I might actually die before we get our first harvest in. In fact, I'm definitely going to die. Alright, and what is our pressure for this room? It is 78. That means that we can do a comfy... for 78, let's do 85 in here as well. Yeah. Turn it on. Okay, the CO2 begins to flow. Very nice. At 20C as well. Awesome. Alright, and we are at 3 kilopascals, but at 21C. Yeah, it's flowing well. It's flowing really well. Our pipe network here is going to be able to fill this room, I think. I think we're going to get pretty close anyway. Alright, now I just got to patiently wait for that to happen. And then we've actually got quite a bit of oxygen in these tanks. Why don't we just vent that into this room? Let's pop this up. Hopefully this won't blow the walls off. I guess we'll find out shortly. Let me hit a save quickly. Whew! Okay, spike in pressure. Spike in pressure. But it is spreading it around. Oh, that's just to push the pressure out of this, There we go. Okay, because we had all that O2 saved up in here. In fact, that seems like as good a time as any just to refill the old tank. Thank you so much. Okay, very nice. Very nice. And then we can take all this apart. We might actually have a use for this thing, though, the tank connector. It can be pretty handy if you want to use that filtration unit for anything, but I don't think we need it. We've got the big filtration units. So let's just recycle it, I think. Although, that being said, this is probably going to be one of our only sources of pollutant at the moment, although there's basically nothing in there. We could get a little volatiles we could get back. I mean, we could just attach, we could put this down, and then have it just link up to that network. In fact, I think I'm going to do exactly that. And then whenever, we can drag it around, we just wrench it in, and it'll get slurped up. It'll get vacuumed up by the filters. I don't know where I'm going to put it just yet, though, so just leave that over there for now. Alright, what else can we recycle from this whole setup? We've got an extra vent, that's nice. A couple of extra vents, very nice. Now, this extra suit can get recycled, so can the jetpack. We're never going to use them. This belongs to the airlock, so that can stay. Alright, I'm just going to tidy up around here a little bit. I'll be back in a second. The tracker chip we can recycle. We'll use all these pipes again elsewhere. Alright, cool. That's all been picked up. There's just this cable left. Let's collect that too. Full completionism. And then I want to go set up oxygen recapture from the main tank. That's going to be something we definitely want to have secured. Okay, the vents can get put away. We don't need those right now. The pressure regulator and the volume pump can get put away. The pipes can get put away. These pressure detectors are actually pretty handy. The pipe meters, sorry. Let's grab... Actually, we are going to need all that again. Never mind. Because we basically got to set up the same thing on the other side now. We don't need this. We do need this. We can recycle this. We'll keep the transformer. I'm sure we'll have a use for that later. Let's go ahead and shred this tank, because that's like 10 iron back. And you just turn it off while it's busy. And then it doesn't spit it out until you've got everything you want. Recycled, the jetpack, the tracker chip. All of that can just go. Okay, now we'll let it spit it out, because that's everything. And it's all in one place. We'll just load that up for the next time we run the centrifuge. Okay, but you've seen this before. I'm just going to put together a little oxygen tank recapture here. I think I need a little bit of space. So why don't we do it... We can do it up. Up is good. You know what? Let's actually tuck it out of the way a little bit. So it's not so visible. It's obviously... It's hideous, of course. It's hideous. So put that there. We'll need a pipe and a wrench. I'm just doing this with the last few breaths. The image of this man just sort of frantically trying to get his base in order before his clone arrives is very funny. We're going to put a pipe meter over there. And we're going to put our pressure regulator. And you know what? We might as well take this opportunity to go up to the better tanks. I think now's as good a time as any, right? Oh, shut up. You'll be fine. Probably not, actually. You're definitely going to die. Sorry, buddy.
Look, Pim, I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause.
Alright, so then the pressure we're going to allow in here is actually going to... It would burst our current tank. We're going to allow 20 kPa. We'll put 19,500. There we go. Turn that on. Of course, give it a mandatory coat of paint. Thank you. And that's going to start pressurizing in here. Or at least it would if we weren't out of... Are we out of oxygen? Ooh, I need to go mining. I need to go mining. Alright, now we can't make the canisters I want without the next level pipe bender mods. Pipe bender mod, not pender mod. So we might as well go get the next level pipe bender mod. Give me mod for the pipe bender. And please, dear God, only make me one. I have 500 steel. Let's just split this. Is that set to hundreds? Yep. Grab me a stack of that. Run that through. Where's all my steel? 126, 162, and now 100 in there. Okay, we actually need to do some more steel. Well, good thing we got all those shrooms, right? We should definitely make that respawn kit as well before I forget. Okay, lots and lots of plumbing to do. This is just the plumber's delight today. So we're going to start off with the... Let's start off with the nitrogen refilling. This is a perfect spot for it, right between the tanks. Although I do eventually want to connect up the data on this. So instead, let's put it over here. Right over there. And of course, we're going to have to give that a spray paint at some point. And we'll want our pressure regulator. I can go here. Why not? Right over there. And then it'll take a little cheeky U-bend. And we'll spray paint all of this in due course, don't worry. Okay, very nice. Let's get that spray painting done. So you're going to be black for nitrogen, 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 nitrogen. And then give me the canister. Oh, and I need pipe meters too. I got one left. I need another one. Okie day. And then we just got to charge you up. And I need to go get more cables too. It's always something, isn't it? Wait, maybe, perhaps? Is there a chance? There's no chance. Okie dokes. So you are going to be set to 19,500 because these things can survive up to 20 kPa instead of 10. And we'll pressurize this tank. All right, that's going to be our new jetpack. Then I want to be able to filter out my waste tank back into the sorting network. We could do that. I think we'll do that right over here. I think this is as good a place as any. So don't worry about the direction of that arrow. That is completely superficial. Where else could we fit this? We could fit it back here. Is that where I want to put that? Not really. I'd like it to be... I mean, this actually makes the most sense right here, right? Because I need to be able to run a volume pump through it too. So put that there. And we put the volume pump on the other side. And this volume pump is going to pull the gas out of these canisters, whatever we put in there, and put it back into the filtration network. Just like that. And I need a yellow pipe. So the easiest way to do that, pick it up like this. They'll just stack to what, they'll just change to whatever color you stack them to, basically. Okay, cool. That worked. Then, final piece of le puzzle. We need to connect this up, max out the volume, turn that on, and then I should be able to just sort of slope out my waste tank like that. And yes, indeed, I can. And we can also use that to then drain that extra nitrogen tank. So you're at 7,000 kPa. Well, you're already a lot better than my other one. But let's go ahead. So let's just test this out. I put that in there. We completely slurp the jetpack empty. There we go. And this canister can be recycled. Okay, even though this one is technically at lower pressure now, it will work. Alright, and the last thing I want to do is just drop this here. Give it a white coat of paint. And then get it pressurizing as and when we have oxygen to pressurize with. Alright, so there you go. It's already over 10 megapascals and it's not even halfway full. Alright, but that'll be plenty for now. Just let that keep pressurizing. How are we doing in here? Still plenty of gas. Let's go recycle this. Okay, time to prepare for our death, though. It is surely imminent. Close this up. Okay, let this hang out in here. It's going to just filter out all the pollutant in this room. And 40 kPa, 15C. Yeah, let's respawn in here. So we'll put our respawn point right over there. Set the respawn. Okay. Soon, master, we shall return to thee. You know what? I'm going out the way I came into this world. Father, prepare to accept me.
Oxygen critical. Low pressure. Oxygen critical. Pressure critical.
Father!
Temperature critical.
Father! I come to thee, Father.
Cognition low.
Accept me into your loving embrace, Master. I'm so sorry to have failed you once more. Ah!
Cognition critical.
And of course, a huge thank you to our channel members and patrons for this month, who quite literally keep the lights on around here. Your support means the world to me. To Guarantor Road, Frickin' Friendly Beaver, Lunar Shots, Pratham Baruch, Ragnar Skull Crew, Jan the Pan, Big Bird G, Sleep Deprived Sam, CCMD, Hendrik Eber, Depoyo44, Wedgie FRG, Rivo, LCG Canyon Sahar, Kelly Ananas, Adachi, Alan O'Selahair, Old Man Tater, Knee Cruncher, Riley David, The Senate, Couch Potato, King of Hell, Mel Roman, Charlie Weber, Officer C4, and Mermix. You guys all rock. See you in the next one. Cheers.